Greetings again, adventurers, and welcome back to Let's Play ChäoS. In the last episode, Takumi was rather overwhelmed by Fez's calm, detached demeanor and her icy cold gaze focused heavily on him, to the point where his social anxiety pretty much got the better of him, and he all but fled the concert over at Gigante's and ran all the way back to the sanctuary of the Kurenai building, and more specifically the shipping container that is his home base, where all is as it should be, for the moment. But I doubt it's going to stay that way for long. Ensue was my daily life, and a pleasant world, and my one comfort, with how it let me escape from reality. If only we could dive right into the world of Ensue through the computer screen, but alas, that kind of technology doesn't exist, and it would be something else to actually have virtual reality VR goggles, but yeah, this is 2009, so that isn't going to happen anytime soon. As long as I immersed myself in Ensue, I could forget all about the bad stuff. I ceased being myself and ran about in Balazad as Knight-hart, the mighty paladin. But Knight-hart wasn't doing too well today. Of course, I knew it was due to how I used the keyboard and made decisions for him. Takumi is Knight-hart's controlling puppet master after all. But I had trouble accomplishing things I normally performed with ease, and though playing was supposed to comfort me, I got more and more irritated as I continued. Looks like Takumi's frustration is starting to seep into his playing skills.
なんだよこいつ捨てるぞお前
I knew it was my fault, but I took it out on Knight-hart.
ああもうムカつく
Scrunching up my hair, I kicked the metal plate wall. Once I completely worked off my anger, I took a sigh and leaned back against my chair. I blearily contemplated the monitor. Without me to operate him, Knight-hart stood motionless at the entrance to Shangrim City and stared off into space. I'd always fought enemies while watching Knight-hart's back like this. Naturally, he had the maximum possible number of experience points. Of course, due to Takumi's copious amounts of and hours of grinding.
僕の経験値っていくつなんだろう
It's a bit blurry, but I'm going to try and say somewhere along the line of well, it's well over the millions. I can make out that much. Let's see, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10, 100. It must be 1,209,000,000. It's actually too blurry for me to read out. I'm sorry. But anyway, had the human being named Takumi Nichijou matured at all since he first began playing Ensue, or rather, since the time he was born? That is a very philosophical question for the ages there, Takumi. If I'd grown up, why was I so bad at talking to people? Why was I carrying on the lifestyle of a borderline hikikomori? Again, a fairly apt question. If I didn't log in for several weeks, would Knight-hart become a hikikomori as well? Who can say? Whose eyes are those eyes? As I watched Knight-hart's back, I suddenly remembered those words. I started to become a little curious about what Knight-hart got up to when I wasn't controlling him. Maybe there's some sort of hacker out there in Ensue who takes control of other people's characters when they're not using them. Unlikely, but it is a very interesting scenario. I continued to survey him for some time, keeping my hands away from the keyboard and munching on my potato chips.
もしナイトハルトに自我があるとしたら
Probably for the best, since if Knight-hart was an actual artificial intelligence, that might not bode well for Takumi. Surely he would go striding through Shangram City, shoulders squared. He was the hero everyone worshipped, at least in the world of Balazad.
ねえナイトハルト僕はいつでもお前を見てるんだぞ
Yes, indeed. Takumi Nishijo is gazing upon Knight-hart, just as the enigmatic god's gaze looks down upon him. And yet, of course, without Takumi's guiding hand to set him straight, Knight-hart is basically standing around in the middle of the town square, doing absolutely nothing whatsoever.
お前はそれに気づいてるの
All of a sudden, Knight-hart issued forth words, even though I hadn't typed anything in. Now we're definitely starting to get into Matrix territory, sorry. And you can actually see the experience screen properly this time. So yeah, it's 1,209,483,294 experience points. That is quite a lot of experience points. And the amount of money that Knight-hart has in his in his coin purse is definitely nothing to sneeze at either. Thinking it must be a hallucination, I rubbed my eyes, but his utterance still showed up in the chat window. The 2D world. Sorry about that. You can become a hero too. Let's fight together. Seems that Knight-hart is fully aware of what is going on inside Takumi Nishijo's mind.
いやそうだけど
To think that he would start talking to the person behind him. Well, if it were actually well, he's still looking away, facing towards the woods, which is kind of interesting. The fact that if he actually turned around to actually look at Takumi, then that would definitely be ominous. Did Knight-hart have a will of his own after all? Touch the monitor with your hand. Then you'll be able to join me in Balazad as Takumi Nishijo. Our watchword will be... Whose eyes are those
だが
eyes?
断る二次元世界に行くならせっかくだから僕はエロゲの世界を選ぶぜ
And of course, Takumi denies Knight-hart's or refuses Knight-hart's offer.
バゼラードはお前に任せるよ、ナイトハルト。
I cut the power to my PC as I answered him. That would actually kind of be a bad thing there, Takumi. Let me describe events exactly as they occurred. Gonna have to stop you right there, Takumi, because we still have another path we can go down. So bear with me a moment, adventurers. And of course, we're back here at the crossroads between positivity and negativity, so it's time for the negative route this time.
お前はそれに気づいてるの？
Down into the rabbit hole of madness we go, yet again. All of a sudden, the monitor was enveloped in brilliant light. Struck dumb by this abrupt development, I closed my eyes.
気づいてないと思ったのか?
I heard a voice.
いつも俺はお前の命令に従ってきたのに。
The voice was coming from the direction of the monitor. Now this is truly foreboding.
俺の中の人がここまでバカだとは思わなかったぞ。
Who are you? You probably know the answer to that question if you open your eyes, Takumi. I opened my let me read that again. I opened my eyes, but the light from before had numbed them. I couldn't see a thing.
もういい。俺はお前を捨てる。これからは自由に生きる。
Could it really be Knight-hart? But what do you mean? You're leaving me? And he's actually speaking in words, not just text.
そのままの意味だ。だからお前はバカなんだ。
You're a character I created. Are you trying to mutiny? Knight-hart is supposed to be a paladin after all.
そうだ。もううんざりだ。何が疾風陣雷だ。中二病にも程があるだろう。お前にわかるか？俺がどんな気持ちでそう呼ばれていたか。お前はかっこいいつもりだったかもしれないがな。俺からすれば恥ずかしいだけなんだよ。でも俺は自分の言葉を発することもできず、じっと耐えるしかなかったんだ。
うるさい！生意気だぞ！そんなこと言うなら消すぞ！
Minor apologies there, adventurers, because if you've already noticed, some of what Knight-hart was saying to Takumi didn't actually appear in text, which is kind of strange, but there's nothing I can do about that.
勝手にしろ。だがな、これだけは覚えておけ。お前が俺をボタン一つで消せるように、お前もお前の中の人にボタン一つで消される程度の存在なんだと。
Before we could answer that question, we were
まあ、
cut off.
実際にはそんなことあるわけないけどね。
Yeah, ChäoS head unfortunately has more than a few glitches. Smiling ruefully at my delusions, I went on regarding Knight-hart, who stood in the world of Balazad as stock still as usual, and not saying a word. Saying a word? Saying a word. Maybe I should make an effort not to push him quite so hard today. Even mighty paladins need to take a break every once in a while. As that thought ran through my head, I resumed playing. Well, at least Takumi is in a bit of a better mood now. Um, that was actually, I was going to say that was actually probably the least disturbing negative delusion that we've actually encountered thus far. Up until this point. But now the time has come to observe reality for what it
お前は
is.
それに気づいてるの？
The real world. Is Knight-hart actually going to move of his own accord? Is he going to be controlled by another player from somewhere out there in the void of the internet? No is the answer to that question. And at this moment, I'm starting to think we're about to find out what exactly events Takumi Nishijo was referring to moments ago. Or maybe not. Even though I wasn't touching the keyboard, Knight-hart, who had up until then had been standing bolt upright with his back turned to me, abruptly just turned his face to look at me. Now we're starting to get into unknown territory there. Oh, sorry, fancied. Lol. Good bait and switch there, Takumi. You really got me. Haha.
なんつって。
I ended up zoning out and staring at my monitor for over an hour, but Knight-hart only went standing endlessly in the same place. Yeah, we got tricked there by Takumi of all people. Glad to see you're in high spirits. Let me describe events exactly as they occurred. Please do, Takumi. Today I grudgingly went to school. Then when classes got out, I somehow found myself going to buy a cell phone with my little sister. Yeah, Nanami did kind of drop a line of the fact that that's probably what was going to happen at some point. You probably don't have any idea of what I'm saying, but I don't get how it happened either. And yet, we're in a mobile phone electronics retail store, of all
お兄
places.
何ブツブツ言ってんの？
And it seems that Takumi was actually mumbling aloud. Well, could be worse. He could be speaking into a cell phone that's turned off, speaking to an unknown sender.
それよりほらこの機種はどうかって聞いてるんだけど。
It's probably going to be the same model as the one Nanami already has, isn't it? I want to hurry up and go home. How many times would it take before my stupid sister finally got the fact that I didn't even need a cell phone in the first place? When I got to school today, Nanami came all the way to my classroom to ambush me. After insulting me with, "It's so rare for you to be at school," she ordered me to come buy a cell phone for sure this time. And my intuition is telling me that Daisuke is never going to let Takumi live this down. Ever. Once the school day ended, I made an attempt to run away before she found me, but I'd forgotten how fast she was. And so, our game of tag came to a swift end when she caught me and took me with her to the plaza by the train station. Which brings us to the electronics store. I didn't really want to come to the plaza. I never did. Even now, nausea had already begun to surge up inside me. Without any idea of how I felt, Nanami picked up a bunch of sample models from the display at the front of the store and grunted to herself as she looked at them. struggled to comprehend why Nanami was giving so much thought to the matter of buying a phone for me, especially considering how pricey some of these higher-end models might be.
これ色が結構可愛いじゃん。いいと思うな。
I think functionality more than aesthetic is probably going to be more useful, but that's just me. Naturally, because she was seeking my opinion, I answered her.
それっていい？
でもな、お兄にはちょっと可愛すぎかも。似合わなさそう。
This is probably going to take forever, isn't it? Never mind the fact that I'd said I was okay with it. I no longer had any idea of how many times I told her that's fine. Probably should just pick a blue phone and be done with that. Despite the fact that she asked my opinion, she had no intention of actually listening to me. This is why 3D girls are the absolute worst.
お兄、大丈夫？やっぱり人の技にやられちゃった？
And it actually seems that Nanami is acutely aware of Takumi's psychological condition, which is the first time that she's actually hinted at such awareness.
マクディで休もうか？
McDee's. McDee's, you say? You're telling me to enter that delinquent salon fast food shop? That itself would be hell. I shook my head fiercely.
そっか。じゃあなるべく早めに決めるね。でもちょっと迷っちゃっててさ。
I sighed and decided to leave without Nanami. As she examined the numerous lined-up cell phones with an earnest look on her face, I secretly snuck away. Something tells me she's not going to be oblivious for too much longer. That's the 107 building. As I started to head for the Shibuya 107 building, I caught sight of a bizarre spectacle and unthinkingly stopped moving. What's that? Beyond the waves of people, a remarkably conspicuous girl was standing on the steps up to 107, past the area full of busy traffic. The thing she held in her hand was a sword? Somehow, both in its color scheme and atmosphere, it resembled the mic stand Fez had used during her performance. In fact, it'd be appropriate to think of them as being part of the same series, although we don't yet know who this particular girl is at the moment, because we obviously aren't really looking at her per se. At any rate, it was a humongous sword. It might even be longer than the one. It might have even. I keep screwing up that. It might have been even longer than the one Fez had. Why do I always want to say Ferris? Never mind that. Surprisingly, the girl with the sword was wearing a Suime uniform. Could it be the pink-haired girl? From this distance, I couldn't tell what her face was like or anything, but even though she stood out so much, she watched the people walking along the road below with an air of composure. I must have taken a hell of a lot of courage. I seriously had to give her mad props. Walking around the middle of Shibuya, carrying a toy sword. What was this, some kind of BDSM play? I wondered if that sword was a cosplay prop from some new anime or whatever, although I'd technically taken a look at all the recently aired new anime myself. Had there been one where a sword like that showed up? Was there a show I'd forgotten to watch? If there were, it'd probably take, a very long time to find it, given the fact that there is so much anime in the world right now that would take forever to pretty much cycle through all of it. I certainly would have found it impossible to make myself carrying a sword while walking around Shibuya. But it was a damn cool model. I kind of wanted one for myself. Maybe I'd find it being sold in Akiba, or would it be available online?
鬼
Unfortunately, Takumi, your musings will have to be put on the back burner for the time being. Someone's elbow dug into my back without any warning. I came rather close to passing out in agony and collapsing on the spot. When I turned around, Nanami stood there imposingly with a furious look on her face.
もしかして逃げようとした
Well, if we were trying, we clearly failed.
確かにナナが選ぶのに時間かけすぎたのは悪いと思うけどさ
Let me guess, we've probably been standing here for about 3 hours now.
だからってナナを置き去りにして逃げようとするなんてひどいよ
What do you mean run away? We were literally standing at the front of the store, not that far away. Otherwise you never would have been able to catch up with Takumi that quickly. For the time being, I shook my head.
お兄のバカ携帯の電磁波の浴びすぎで腎臓を悪くして死んじゃ
I think if we were exposed to electromagnetic waves from our cell phone, we might end up shifting world lines. Just be as bad as getting kidney damage. I don't get what you mean.
え一生懸命お兄のために選んであげてたナナがバカみたいじゃんこうなったらもう適当に決めるお兄なんてナナと同じ機種で十分だよ
Hate to break it to you, Nanami, but you probably could have saved all the hassle if you'd done that at the start of this. Nanami grabbed my arm forcibly.
本気で今日契約するんだからねそれまで絶対逃がさない
わかったよ話せよ
分かったならさっさと来て
You do realize that he's probably just going to let the credit run out and never pay for it again. But oh well. I was completely clueless as to why Nanami had gotten so angry. God, what an aggravating sister. And it's time to go to another venue. In the end, as though all her fretting up until now had been some kind of lie, Nanami picked out a model all too easily. After spending an hour dealing with the red tape related to the phone plan, I got my hands on the phone itself and was planning to go straight home. But Nanami stopped me, because of course she does.
ナナが初期設定してあげるからマクディやろ
And it looks like Takumi and Nanami are going to head over to McD's in the end anyway, so why not? Ignoring my intentions, she grabbed me by the collar and dragged me to the closest McD's without giving me so much as a chance to protest. Not that she would have cared even if she did.
どうせお兄携帯持って帰っても電源入れずにほったらかしにするに決まってるんだから
And again, as I just said, he wouldn't even top up the credit.
ナナがちゃんと使えるようにしてあげる
Very well. And the McD's diner, I've kind of had a bit of a soft spot for some of the finer establishments. Damn it. Just how much did you have to tie me down before you'd be satisfied? And bringing me to McD's on top of everything else. Well, it may not be the best food on the planet, but it's still food, so to speak. But that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play ChäoS Head, and when we return, we shall see what Takumi and Nanami have to order at McD's. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.